Thank you for tuning in to Rap Palette. This your boy Prince Harkin. And I like to talk about different things, especially that's very educational. And I think one of the most things that we as musicians and music listeners don't understand the fundamentals of science. Now, I wouldn't say this is original content, but what we're going to talk about is based off an article by Kenneth High, Copyright Infringement in Music. And I'm going to explain it in depth for you. Now, I know a lot of people might watch the news and hear the news and stuff like that, but really don't know what's going on. For y'all who don't know what copyright infringement, I'm going today. And we're going to go in depth. We're going to talk about a couple things and how to protect yourself, especially for being an independent artist or just an average person who just is, just who just might want to do something, or you're a content creator and you want to put something out there. You know what I'm saying? Now, to establish copyright infringement, you must establish that you own a valid copyright in a work and that the work has been copied is substantially similar to be protected in the element of original work. So copyright infringement is if you've done something and you hear a song or something that sounds similar to that, that's copyright, and it is protected by the United law. I'm going to give you another definition. Is the use of works protected by copyright law without the permissions of usage where such permission is required. Therefore, infringement certain exclusive rights granted to the copyright holder, such as the rights to reproduce, distribute, display, or perform. Now, a lot of y'all don't know that this has been going on for generations and years and years. And there's been 5 notable copyright infringement cases, one more recent, and we can go one that goes back to like the Rolling Stones and the Verve, George Harrison's and the Cliftones, Led Zeppelin and Willie Dixon, even our beloved Chuck Berry and the Beach Boys. A lot of y'all don't know that Chuck Berry has written songs that the Beach Boys has copied. And for something that's even more notable is the Marvin Gaye and State versus Robin. Now that is still questionable because the music doesn't even sound the same, but they say the feel of the song is what they saying about copyright, and this is why you have to understand these certain things. So, and this goes for people like producers and rappers who might use other people's lyrics, producers who are sampling, and you got to be careful in this realm, especially in this day and age. Back in the days, it was not too much of an issue, but now you can literally get yourself into a pickle. You know what I mean? That's why you got to clear your samples. You have to have permission of use of anything now. Even a person like list is copyrighted. But for the most part, we're going to talk about in the music perspective, because this is what it is. Because there's a piece that I did on Pharrell, and he's talking about how that case really damaged him, you know what I mean, especially when the Marvin Gaye estates took him to court. You know what I mean? And even then, it still was kind of crazy how that. Oh, here's another thing I forgot. Another case that's going. Juice WRLD, even though he's dead, he's still being sued by a band for Lucid Dreams. And they say it's copyright infringement. You know what I mean? Because they're not getting paid. And another thing is, too, usually people come after you for copyright infringement when you're making. It's just the fact of the matter is, if you're not making no money, nobody don't really care. But if you hitting millions and millions of dollars, they say, hey, this guy took my song. Hey, this guy took my work. This guy took this and that. So let's go in depth in it. I'm gonna be reading certain things, and I'm gonna go in and out of certain things. There's certain things I feel that you should know and you should know. So when we tackle exactly what copyright infringement in music is, hopefully I can help. You know what I mean? Hopefully I can help people in the music industry or people who's trying to up and come in it. Because I want you to understand this for something. And this is one of these evergreen contents that I'm trying to just to put it. So now, cases of copyright infringement in the music industry is far from new. And as these cases being reviewed by judges, juries, we are not music scholars. You know what I mean? And even themselves, they already been burning. You know, they already been blurred lines between the artist and the other artists as far as this. So, you know what I mean? And a lot of it is just the perception that is given as opposed to actually it. So you can technically copyright a style, flow, or vibe. But some copyright cases have attempted to state otherwise, especially with the whole thing with Pharrell and Robin, whose family is being sued, in which they won the case. That song Blurred Lines and Marvin Gaye's Got to Get Up. Many scholars believe that the jury based their decision off the song's feeling rather than the technicality of being the same. Pharrell and Robin Thicke was ordered to pay millions of dollars put aside for a whopping sums, the Blurred Lines left a bad taste in the music industry. And it is bad for me. You know what I mean? Because you got to understand what's copywritten and what's not copywritten. And that's the stuff right there. Now, in the midst of this whole confusion, there's been an increased number of copyright cases over the past few years since Blurred Lines cases have seemed to incorrectly learn the style and feeling. Artists and songwriters around the world got trigger happy, and we're now seeing these type of cases more and more frequent basis. A few months back, Lizzo was hit with a plagiarism allegation for an opening line hit single "Truth Hurts." Around the same time, it was announced that Juice WRLD would be for yellow cards, despite unfortunate death for allegedly copyrighting a melodic element in Hollywood died. Copyright claims often refute, but with increasing amount of cases, more so than logic behind them, it clears the things that they're getting out of hand. And it's getting out of hand. Talk to some experts to trace back where things went wrong and where the lines should be drawn. So a lot of people got to understand, how do copyright cases come about? And I said this, from my perspective, when you start making money, that's when it's important. If you're not making money, people don't care, but you shouldn't do it at all. Like, let's just get some. Try to make original work, point blank, period. It's going to get better in the long run. And then you copyright your own stuff. You can have valid this. So let me read this. Copyright cases arise when an artist or team or the copyright holder hears a song that they feel contains stolen elements from their have already created. The artist and teams would then go and file a complaint, but technically both parties would try to settle the issue at hand before the step foot in the court. A lot of copyright claims have done that. And some people do it in a way where they'll just give people credit, or they'll just sign a contract and pay a fee. You know, I'll give you an example. This is not a copyright situation. Bodak Yellow, which is Cardi B's favorite song, and Kodak Black is listed as a writer, but really it's the flow. You know what I'm saying? Like his flow that they say that she took his cadence. You know what I mean? Now here's where we go. Pharrell and Robin Thicke took this approach, but it's not always guaranteed to work, and it can even backfire. What we use in Blurred Lines case is that Pharrell and Robin Thicke asked the judge to declare that there was no copyright infringement before the Gray's estate had a chance to bring the lawsuit. And this was kind of bold, almost arrogant in the move, what convinced the Gray estate to go ahead and file a lawsuit. Some copyright cases arise. There are few technical points that are often relied to the case. The line is a reality of the melody chosen, the rhythm of the melody that's chosen, and how it relates to the chord progression that's there in the lyrics. Those are ownable elements of music. So in that line right there, the melody, the line, the progression, even the first couple bars too is another situation where these things are copyrighted, or you know what I mean, or these things have already, you know what I mean, stamped and stated that yeah, this guy made this, you know what I mean, and this is the situation. Now here's this thing. Now, since the Blurred Lines case claims of copyright infringement are increased, backed by those things you cannot technically copyright. It's a feeling. You can't copyright a style. You can't copyright a vibe. You can't copyright a rhythm. You can't copyright a beat. You can't copyright a chord progression. So these things are reused, reshaped all the time. And these is exactly how Pharrell and Robin Thicke got caught when they attempted to make a song that made people feel the same as Got to Give Up, which is crazy to even think about that. Now, here's the next thing we're going to talk about. How much is necessary for someone to get? Lizzo's summer was historically successful, and with the success, people saw an opportunity. She's currently facing plagiarism lyrics claims over her lyrics. I just took a DNA test, and turns out I'm 100% B. True hurts. Although she took a phrase from a viral tweet, she's being sued by the songwriter's brother, Justin, who's also penned lyrics for Charlie XCX and Jeremiah Resin, claimed that variation of the phrase first appeared in a demo that co-wrote Healthy back in October 2017. After much of an uproar, Lizzo took to Twitter and Instagram and addressed the situation, explaining that she was inspired to use that short phrase from a meme, and while she didn't know the origin from the tweet, she was giving credit to the person it came from and not the brothers. Despite the phrase being such a short collection of words, does it mean it also be something to be used? A lot of people don't know this. Right now, it wasn't like that back in the days, but We're living in a day where any and everything can get monetized. So everybody's going to try to find a way to get their money. Something you say, if a person really want to take it and they got the money, they'll take you to court. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Not necessarily if it's not written in law, they'll take you to court. So if you sample something, there is an inherent issue with taking care of it. There's an inherent license. When somebody uses a sample, you have to get it cleared. You have to get the permission. It doesn't matter how much if it's noticeable. Here's another thing. When Mark Rosen and Bruno Mars were hit with a copyright infringement claim for Uptown Funk, the Gap band Robert Wilson sued them for the similarities of the chords of Uptown Funk as compared to the Gap band's Oops Upside Your Head, even though it was for 3 notes in a specific order, and thus not even a melody which was needed to contain several notes. The Gap band still went forward in pursuing the case. I'm trying to tell you, you'll get hit with so many things. So here's the next point of view. What does legal process look like? When an artist finds themselves dealing with a possible case of copyright infringement, they often try to settle before the case gets to a trial. Artists often do this out of fear of bad press or being seen as a Perez tells us. Even if the case brought against them isn't very strong, meaning it meant be centered around one of the non-ownable elements, rhythms, style, and vibe. And both sides can reach an agreement. There are some things that happen before court. After a complaint is formed, defendant can file a motion to dismiss, which is an attempt to get the case thrown out without going through factual discovery, which can be very expensive, says the dictionary. The motion to dismiss that would not contain a factual review, like comparison of sheet music. A motion to dismiss may happen where the creative expression that is alleged being infringed is a short lyrical phrase or a short musical sequence, Dickinson said. The defendant may argue that the plaintiff does not have a protectable right in a short phrase, whether lyrical or music. Therefore, as a matter of law, it can't support a copyright infringement. So you have to look at it from, you know what I mean. Statute of limitation is another argument that can be arise on a motion to dismiss. There's a 3-year statute of limitation for copyright infringement claims. So if there's no allegation that the copyright work has been streamed, performed, copied, or otherwise exploited in the 3 years before the complaint was filed, you may have the motion to dismiss or the statute of limitation of grounds. So now, if the motion is dismissed and denied, the next step is the discovery stage, which the opposite side will go through a formal interview known as a deposition, and Pharrell went there with blurred lines and request documents and information that may support the claim of defense. An artist or a songwriter who alleged to have infringed on someone else's song may be at the disposable when he created the song, whether they ever had access to the plaintiff's song. You know what I mean? And this is typical in cases, you know what I mean? Especially if you went through a criminal case. You know what I mean? Now there's a motion of summary. You know what I mean? There's so much to go with that. Now, here we're going to go down to this. I'm going to try to wrap this up because it's a lot. So I'm just hitting certain key points. What's the financial breakdown? Copyright infringement cases often involves a lot of money. When news broke that Juice WRLD was being sued over Lucid Dreams, the inaccurate figure requested by Yellow Card was a slot $15 million. Yellow Card's law firm King and Follow refuted that the number with a correction that the members of Yellow Card are simply seeking what the law allows and what parties in their position have sought in similar cases, which at some point is not determined. However, suggested a high number of funds to compensate for damages is not uncommon. In most cases, people throw out a shockingly high number on a person because in the American judicial system, anybody can sue for any amount of money. And if that request would be fulfilled, it's inherently a different question. So people sue people for a large amount of money. But, you know what I mean? And people don't care if you're dead or not. They still going to try to get their bag. So, you know, the man just died, but they still going to get their bag. In a copyright infringement context, there's 2 types of damages. There's statutory damages and actual damages. Statutories are set by the law between $750 to $30,000 per infringement work. If the plaintiff proves that the defendant is actually willfully, which means that the defendant knew recklessly disregarding the risk. The maximum statutory damage is increased by 150,000. But when a lawsuit targets a hit song that presumably made more than 150,000, the plaintiff would typically seek actual damages, which is the amount of money that it made. And it's crazy because sometimes you didn't even make the money. Like these guys, the song was a hit, and they still gonna go after everything. Now, think about the song Panini by Lil Nas X, the little melody that comes from Nirvana and The Bloom, those three notes, that could have gotten away, but it didn't want to take a chance. So Kurt Cobain, co-songwriter before it was even released, Prince pointed out. So how does copyright infringement work when it comes to sampling? And I think a lot of people know this, and I'm going to end this off with this. Sampling is without a doubt a key component of hip-hop. Artists like Lil Wayne with the Dedication and No Ceiling series, and most recently Tory Lanez with Chicks 5, have gained an enormous amount of steam by ripping off other people's songs, whether it's a beat. Like Lil Wayne would typically do those mixtapes, key vocals from a song as Tory Lanez does on his Checks tape. The lack of a proper licensing cause to get ugly regardless if the project is released. If an artist samples someone else's recording, they would need to license the recording, which is usually owned by the record label, as well as the underlying music composition, which is owned by a songwriter and a music publisher. Despite being a reputable strategy in rap, sampling someone else's flow is something that cannot be copyrighted, no matter how hard you buy it. There was a bunch of hoopla about Ariana Grande's song 7 Rings because she used a specific rapping rhythm. Rappers sing triplets over trap beats. That's just a style right now. No one owns that. So I'm going to end it like this. You know what I mean? Drake has even been. So in a nutshell is just make original content. You know what I mean? Just go after it. Make original content. You know what I mean? It's good to listen to music, but don't get in depth in it where you might mistakenly take something from it. And I understand everybody's inspired to different things, you know, but you also got to protect yourself as far as when it comes to that, you know. And that's it. Now, let me say this now. Here's how you can protect yourself from copyright infringement. First, they can buy insurance for copyright claims. That's one thing. And just to protect yourself, just do original music. That's all I gotta say. Peace.